Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Farnsworth, President and CEO of Steward Property Services located in Petaluma, California. And today we're going to talk about what a common interest development is. So it looks like you may have just purchased in a homeowners association or possibly a commercial building. And we wanted to talk a little bit just briefly about what that means. Majority of the time it is a developer coming to the city and saying, hey, I want to put a development in, or the city going to the developer saying, hey, I want you to put a development in, but we don't want to pay for everything. So let's create an association and let's have the owners share the costs. So we want a park and it has to be open to public, but we want the homeowners to maintain the landscaping. We're going to put in a pool, but we need the homeowners to maintain the resurfacing of it. Maybe you have attached units where you have to then decide, okay, who's taking care of the exterior maintenance? So all of these things are shared responsibilities, and you have to have rules in order to govern this, because everything can go well if everyone's well intended. But if you have people who are uneducated or possibly don't have the financial means to maintain it, then you have to have rules in place in order to make sure that the development is healthy for the majority of owners who have bought in. So when we talk about managing a common interest development, you're hiring a manager to enforce the rules for the majority of people who have purchased in this development because of those rules. So a lot of times we educate and we deal with owners who are unaware of those rules. Basically, when you're living in a common interest development, and we're going to talk about residential HOA right now because it's the most common. So people buy a home and then they think, okay, I'm going to pay some monthly dues and that's going to take care of everything. I don't have to hire a landscaper. I don't have to hire a pool cleaner. The HOA is going to do it all for me. But then you start thinking, hey, shouldn't the HOA do it sooner? Or shouldn't they do it this way or use this contractor? And that's where you have to understand that it's like a tiny mini government. So you have a board of directors and they're volunteers, they're unpaid, and they're elected by all of you. So everyone that lives there has a chance to either run for the board or elect someone that they think will do a good job on the board. So participation in the association is incredibly important. Then once you have that entity, you have a board of directors, then they're going to hire a manager because they have full-time jobs and they don't want to do all this stuff on their own. Plus there's so many laws in California to stay on top of that they need someone who's experienced. So they hire someone to come in and manage that. And the manager is the one who wears the black hat because they have to facilitate these rules. So when you're buying in a homeowner association, you have rules that not only take care of the maintenance responsibility, but they also take care of kind of the harmony and the aesthetic consistency of the association. Because when you think about the philosophy of maintaining property values, typically they want consistency. So you're going to want the same paint colors. You're going to want to maintain the siding on a regular schedule, maintain the painting, make sure the roof is going. So there's all these pieces moving at the same time, and you have this board of directors who may or may not be qualified to do that. So you're essentially running a multi-million-dollar real estate corporation, and you could have any other day job in the world, but all these people in your community are counting on you to keep their property values up. So that's really what living in a common interest development is all about. So there are governing documents, there are rules, and there are just best practices that you should know. But the first thing you can do is educate yourself on what living in a common interest development means. We want your experience of living in a common interest development to be a positive one. If you need a resource, you need to ask questions, we're here to help. Feel free to contact us anytime.